At the time, I was angry and insensitive, but I saw people had boundaries, and my job was to attack them.
Roll. Yeah. This is the time, it's not coming near. This is the
There was an underground in the 80s, and we were like the people who were upsetting the people in the underground.
On my way home, I found it all. It's just not the time of the year to be kissing you all the time. I said, I don't even know, honey, but you're near me, so maybe it changed my mind. Yeah, so.
That was NEAL on Rome. It was a way of like, let's just fuck with them. Let's find new ways to fuck. And that's why people went to the band, and why it was created a sensation, because we weren't doing what was expected of us. We weren't behaving in a way bands are supposed to behave. Bands are supposed to have their shit together. They're supposed to have their song list together. And we're like, we didn't even have songs, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, fuck songs. Fuck songs. We're here. We are the fucking thing. And people were like, yeah, some people really hated it, and other people were like, at last, at last. I just didn't care, and I would just flail around and fall on my knees and scream and just do whatever I wanted, and the band would respond to those things. And I think people saw someone who simply didn't care what other people thought of them, and they were like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Like, I want to, you know what I mean? That's, people live in a prison of opinions, and they're afraid to say this or do that, so they self-censor themselves. I was like, that's not my gig. It's like, it's not my gig. I think I would have died. It was very clear that that was in the cards. Like, people don't die. Kurt OD'd a couple times. Like, he just didn't die once, right? So a couple times he had some close calls. That was like with me. Like I was late for the studio one time, and the band said, "Oh, he could be dead," and they weren't joking. Like, they weren't making a joke. Oh, he could be dead. They were like, could be dead. Like, so when you're at that level of behavior where you could be reasonably a corpse somewhere, I was gonna die. So, I may have died and would have been sort of more of a legendary band, because people love that shit. They love dead rock stars. They worship them. They put them up in the pantheon of Rock and Roll House of the Dead. 27 and dead, so sexy. Please die for us. We'll worship you forever. You'll be forever young. We'll never make fun of you when you get old, when you could get a pot belly and lose your hair. People play a game, and they say, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I have $1 million. I'll be happy when I get the job. I'll be happy when I'm married. I'll be happy when I'm divorced. They all have an excuse to be miserable. But what happens when you get everything you want and you're still miserable? I could have any girl that I wanted on Queen Street, and all the drugs were free. Everyone was giving me the drugs for free, and I was the king, whatever. I'd walk in and they go, "Neil's here." You know what I mean? And I had everything that I had been sold by society. That that's success. You've made it. And what happens when you get all that stuff and you're still miserable? It's really fucking awful. It's really the most desperate, suicidal feeling, because you go, I'm still in hell, I'm still miserable, and there's no I'll be happy when. Eventually, I just came to the low point, the lowest of low points, and realized that it was all bullshit. Like getting everything you want is not going to make you happy. And then I shaved my head and I took a vow of silence, and I turned down a movie role, and decided not to put out the second record, and I started to meditate and do yoga and just sort of renounce the world, sort of thing. And I became happier. I became happier because it didn't take a lot to be happy, you know. Yeah, and I just it and without me pushing the band, there was no one to push it, so it just fell apart.
Sometimes you cry, sometimes you laugh, and no one can say whatever will last. It's beauty often hides deep inside.
And yeah, and life is peaceful, and I'm not entangled in bullshit. So yeah, that's what stopped it. I did.